Welcome. Thank you for being here, as Bob said.
Great turnout.
100%.
Yeah, we're really happy to have
guys.
everybody.
Love these faces and asses in seats. It's great.
There's been nights where there hasn't been as many asses, so you are more asses than other nights.
More asses. Now you should
Thank
be
you.
happy with that. We have a lot of asses in the room tonight. And that's not just the fucks behind the mic either.
So normally we start off with a little intro music, but today we're going to try something else.
We're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
I mean, it's wild. It's like we're going to see now. You know what happens when you're not here. You see, it's just the three of us singing
True.
to ourselves because we're that cool.
This is for not showing up the other 6 weeks.
The truth is, we can't do the intro song because we got a noise complaint last week from above right here. Everyone raise your... Give
Your
them a
happiness for upstairs.
Apparently
We
it's a
love you.
hostel upstairs, and for those of you who've heard it, you know that our intro song is a kind of a punk rock song where we mostly just scream and yell 39, and then we scream and yell drunk and disorderlies.
We could probably do it ourselves, but
But it's okay. Like I said, we're not going to because
So-
we got it. We got it. You know.
No intro for anyone.
we were kind of
Right.
banking on the hostels that were being around here, but they turned out to be more hostile than we thought.
Then-
Ooh,
then
I see what you
hostile.
did there.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was a play on words, right?
I haven't slept much lately.
So many puns. So
Wow, so little time.
for those of you who are listening, you know this podcast is 39 Drunk and Disorderlies.
Absolutely.
The true tall
Absolutely.
tales of a 7-foot, 400-pound giant
Larger than life madman. Yeah.
punk rocker. If you're listening to this on one of the podcast platforms, you should also follow us at 39DD Show. Or if you're in the audience right now, you can follow us at 39DD Show on Instagram or Facebook.
If you're really lucky, you might even see yourself or hear yourself or something like that because it happens quite a
We
bit.
do
here.
have an audience mic for our audience participation section, so glad you came because we can use
questions, answers, and statements.
it. It was redundant the one week that
I
no
can
one was
I
here.
can take the judgments. It's okay.
So bank your questions is what we're saying. If you're here in the live studio audience at 18:30, give it up to 18:30 here.
Yeah,
for
this
hosting.
Shout out
place is
1830. How about the
unbelievable,
venue?
100%. What a hell of a spot.
Big shout
9
out to
Clarence Square,
Yeah,
downtown Toronto. It's beautiful.
it's amazing. It's a local spot, but it feels like out of this world. Like it's not quite. It doesn't feel like the downtown vibe you'd expect. You know?
I feel like
kinda
I'm
strange.
finally in my Wending Refn movie, and I can just
Yeah.
be like in Drive and have that satisfaction. I did it. It's happening right now.
It is.
It is,
happening.
yeah.
This is it.
It's almost film noir.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of personal shout-outs. So last night I went and saw the Distillers at Phoenix. And you know what? Distillers, 100% rocking it all these years. Fantastic. You know, had her poster on my wall when I was a young man. And now it's like, what? She's still kicking ass and taking names? That's fantastic. Okay. And it actually leads
Yeah.
into what I was going to talk about tonight because I ran into someone last night that I haven't seen in like 20 years. So my second shout out goes to my buddy Rob Fowler. He's not here tonight because he's a weirdo and I didn't tell him to come here.
Yeah, Rob.
But anyway, he's a pro skater from Ajax who I knew like years and years ago. And in the punk scene, right, there's a lot of crossover with the skate scene. So yeah, we knew each other. And he reminded me last night actually a bunch of really strange things that I'd sort of quasi-remembered. And as soon as I saw him, I'm like, and here's the thing, I don't actually call him Rob Fowler. Whenever I see him, it's Rob fucking Fowler. I'm like, oh, fuck. It's Rob fucking Fowler.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend
Rob.
was making fun of me. She's like, it's really funny how you say that. Every time you talk about the guy, yeah, it's Rob fucking Fowler. Because I just don't remember him as Fowler or Rob Fowler or Rob. It's Rob fucking Fowler. I mean, that's the guy he was. Really intense little dude.
Sounds like a legend.
We
to
all
me.
know someone fucking someone, right?
We,
Oh, yeah.
We also
Wait a
have
second.
another special guest. I don't know if he's quite in the room. He may be at the bar. We
think he's at
have
the
the
bar.
famous Rich, longtime BFF of Big
yeah,
Bob's.
he's been in a lot of my stories, but you haven't seen him. You will tonight. He'll lurk around somewhere looking socially
him the
awkward because
Icelandic.
that's his deal. Yep. Little golf clap for him. All right.
Rich.
Rich would get a golf clap.
Yes, he would. Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. So, I mean, do you have any material you want me to start with, or should I just kick it off?
You want to get into this?
Yeah, I'm ready
Are
to
you
roll.
guys ready to buckle up?
Yeah, you guys are here. You
wanna
guys came
buckle
to
up?
here.
It's time
All
to
right.
buckle up.
You're here and you
So
came to
buckle up.
here.
Rob
Buckle up.
Fowler, I'm dedicating this one to you tonight, my man. Even though you're not here, I'm sure you'll find us because, I can't help but miss this craziness. This is going to happen. It's going to explode, okay? So tonight I'm going to talk about skateboards and water sports. and how sometimes the two lead to each other whether you want them to or not. Right?
I think last week, or maybe the week before one of the episodes, it was Mutual Annihilation and the Traveling Flea Circus.
Yes. Yes.
And today we have
Skateboards and
water sports. All right.
Okay.
I'm
So
excited.
what Rob Fowler reminded me of specifically was one night. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the little skate park at Bathurst and Dundas, in the park there. It's just across the street from McDonald's on the sort of southeast side.
What's that park called?
I can't remember what the name of the park is for the life of me. We used to hang out there.
Alexandria
Park. Thank you very much for that shout out.
Studio audience.
Yes, also known
very
as Sketch
much.
Park. That's the thing. I knew that name, but I was like, I couldn't remember the actual name. And the reason it's called Sketch Park, if you don't know, is because basically every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, during the week in the summer anyway, the park is completely full of wasted, fucked up, hungover, eat out, K-tarded skaters and punk rockers. I mean, literally, like it's like you can walk through and trip over sleeping bags, and find people just like laying on the bench who have no idea what day of the month it is or what continent they're on. It's amazing, right? So Sketch Park is one of these places that we would go just to get loaded, right? Because here's the thing, the skate punks skate, and the hardcore punks make the music that the skate punks skate to. So we were the band that these guys knew. Yeah, we were the band. So we used to go to the park and just get fucking shit canned in the park with these guys, right? Anyway, Rob Feller reminded me of the largest fight I was ever personally in. And I mean, when I say largest, I mean most people involved. And it was one of those situations. You didn't expect it, you didn't see it coming, but when it happened, it was so obvious it was going to. It should have been like, West Side Boys. Everyone should have known the one side of the park was going to brawl the other side of the park. Just give it a bit of time, okay? So we're sitting in the skate park, and there's probably 30 of us, 35 of us, right? Some of us are skating, some of us are just sitting drinking. We're getting hosed. And across from the skate park, there's a baseball diamond. Nobody ever plays baseball there. There are guys who do Tai Chi swords and stuff in the morning, and they'll have a free-form yoga session in the middle of the baseball diamond. But no one ever plays baseball there. I've never seen a softball game, not one time. It's just they have the diamond there because it's something to have there. It's like, well, it could happen someday, right? So sitting at this baseball diamond are 30, 35 sort of hip-hop guys. And they're sitting on the other side, and they're doing their thing, and we're doing our thing, getting shit-faced, and we're not really noticing each other. Anyway, two female friends of mine came wandering into the park. I guess they wandered in on the wrong side of the tracks, right? So they came up through the south side of the park past these guys and attracted a little bit of attention. And these guys start going, oh, hey, baby, what's going on? What are you up to? Yeah. And, of course, the punk rock chicks respond by throwing a beer bottle at these guys, right? Fuck you, shithead. And there goes the beer bottle. So these guys get up, and they're angry as fuck, and they start talking shit to these girls. And I guess they didn't realize that these girls had 40 friends, and we didn't realize that there was 40 guys over there. So anyway, it's on like Donkey Kong, right? This girl's yelling and screaming. We get up, skateboards, chains, beer bottles. Everyone's running across the park, and these guys get up, and it's beer bottles and fists and pocket knives, and all of a sudden the park is just a melee from one side to the other. Dudes getting smashed with bottles, hit with skateboards, kicked in the face. Everyone just crazy. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, wait a second. We're fighting again. Yeah. That's pretty fucking crazy. And it's it's a lot of guys fighting. I'm like, okay, so I get into it and I kind of forget that it's like a bad scene out of a 1950s jazz movie or something, right?
Sounds more medieval.
Yeah, and then we start hearing the sirens, of course, because, you can't have 60 people brawling in a public park at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday and draw absolutely no attention whatsoever. The coolest part is that right across the street from that park, there's a Buddhist temple. And I shit you not, as the cops, 6 or 7 cruisers come driving into the park and cops start piling out, it's Keystone Cops, cops flying out of cars, running around trying to grab kids. Kids are running down the street and skateboarding away fuck you, piggy, you know what I mean? Dudes are running, and one guy has no shoes on anymore because he's been kicked out of his shoes, and so he's just running. He's just running through the park with no shoes, being like, yeah, you can't catch me, buddy. I look over and I shit you not, there's 5 or 6 100-year-old monks standing outside this Buddhist temple, and they're awesome yellow jumpsuits, just hands across their chests, watching these kids kick the shit out of each other in the park across the way. I guess one of them was outside doing something. He's like, oh, yeah, something's going on out there. Let's get Chang and the boys. We're going to stand outside and check this out, you know? So they come to the door and just watch these idiot kids, like, the fuck kicked out of each other. Because like, bad roundhouse kick. Like,
begrudging disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. You should come back Saturday and sword fight in the ball diamond, you know. So that's the Rob Fowler, because I say, like, once again, one of those things when you get arrested or not arrested is arrested in a 60-man melee, and the cop says to you, the first thing the cop says, well, who started it? What? There's 60 people fist fighting in the park. Does it really matter? That guy. It was him. It was all him, right?
It was Gary.
Because
Gary started it all.
Because whoever bottled who. That's not the issue here. What the issue is that Gary did this. Okay, so fuck that Gary guy, right? That's the moral of the story. But no, I mean, it's those questions that I've had asked to me so many times in my life by people in authority. It's just the stupidest, most obvious questions in the world. Like, you know, when I got the largest ticket ever for peeing in public, pissing on this dumpster, and the cop turns the light on me and says, what's going on back there? Well, seriously? You have to ask shit like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, officer. I seem to have sprung a leak. Maybe you can render assistance. Wham! $350 peeing in public ticket. I was like, he's like, laugh it up, Chuckles. I'm like, yeah, thanks. That's great. I'll just keep laughing all the way to the bank with this one, pal. Although, again, I told you this before, words to the wise. If they don't know your name, you never have to pay the ticket. And I can prove this to you because I went to pay a drinking in public ticket myself one time. Rich was there because he got one with me the same day.
Good friend, good friend.
Rich.
And so we showed up. I showed up to pay my ticket because I wanted my day in court. That's the thing. These cops were completely out of control. They were not professional. They were just, basically assault artists looking to pick on someone.
Not Toronto cops.
Not Toronto cops. And don't get me wrong, I don't honestly shit on Toronto cops most of the time. I mean, they're just as corrupt as any other police force. There's really no specialty there.
Right,
it's like you got a badge and a gun, you're in a really big gang. Like, that's how it goes, right? But I got to court, and I shit you not, I'm like, okay, I want to pay this ticket. And they're like, okay, can I see your ID, please? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any photo ID. Oh, you can't pay this ticket. I'm like, well, what?
Wow.
And the cops thought it was me. They're like, here's your fucking ticket, Mr. Malcolm. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll take my fucking ticket, But you get there, and the court's like, no ticket for you, sir. You can't pay this. And I asked the lady, the clerk, I'm like, so do people just come in all the time and try to pay other people, like, drinking in public tickets and shit? Like, yeah, this Rummy, he's got a hard time of it. Just give me the ticket. I'll take care of that for you, pal. You know what I mean? Like, does that actually happen? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, no, it doesn't. There's a rhetorical question. Of course it fucking doesn't. No one's going to pay anybody else's fucking drinking tickets, okay? So I'm here to pay my own fucking drinking ticket, and I can't? No, I'm sorry, sir. You have to have valid photo ID to pay these tickets. So the moral of the story is, if a cop gives you a ticket, your name is Peter Parker. Right? You're like, yeah, I'm friendly. It's my neighborhood. Like, I was just here. I shouldn't have been peeing there. You're right. Or, I probably shouldn't have been drinking in the playground on a school day. Right? But the thing is, Peter Parker, it's fine. I'll pay that ticket, officer. Monday morning, bright and early, I'll be at the courts. And I guarantee you walk in, hand that ticket over, like, Mr. Parker, sir, do you have photo ID? You know what? I left it in my jumpsuit. I'm really sorry.
The Green Goblin took it from me.
Yeah, exactly. No, the vulture swiped it in the parking lot when he was stealing my aunt. I don't know what to do. Sorry, guys. Yo, no problem. You can't pay that ticket, sir. You'll just have to wait over there.
So does it just go into pending, or does it just get absolved, or what happens to it?
That's a good question. See, that part I can't answer. I just know that I was not allowed. It's like, no, you can't pay this ticket. So probably it's one of those things that are like, we're going to ruin your credit rating. At which point I'm like, too late. Nothing you can do to my credit rating, pal. Seriously. You got to figure out who I am before you can ruin my credit rating. Like, I don't have ID. I'm sorry. No credit here. Like, so.
Your credit's no good here.
You're like, what's my credit? You get your credit checked, and they're just like, it's not even a number. It's just buttons and some seeds and some rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no number here.
Credit score. This just looks like a bag of old garlic.
And
yeah, it's great.
Devil
it's great.
spawn.
But when you do pay a ticket, if you notice, you could pay you can write them like traveler's checks. They'll take pocket change. They have an Interact machine, okay? Like, they're ready to take your money if you have the ID. Like, they have every means of payment you can imagine if they can identify you. So remember. Yes. Pete, yeah, I'll give you a MoneyGram here for my $300 peeing in public ticket. Like, don't worry, I'll just e-transfer you that urination fee. Huh? I mean, I find that kind of ridiculous. It is obviously just an industry. I mean, it's like the when they launched the Presto card for the TTC, and everyone give it up for the fucking Presto card. Presto, your money's gone. Woo! It's a magic trick. Those machines are always broken. That service is completely fucked, and we're all paying for it. So enjoy it, like love it. Okay.
Take that, socialism.
I went and tapped my Presto card on, and I have an eye condition, so occasionally I sort of go blind in one eye or both. It's called, and the best part of that is, we're not going to go too long on this, but it's called iritis. And for those of you who even know the bare rudiments of Latin, that just means eye problems, which is why I spent 9.5 hours in an eye doctor specialist. And she was like, oh, you have iritis. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, I'm just really glad I came here. I should have gone to the podiatrist or urologist. Eye fucking problems. That's kind of insulting, you know? Like, no, you know, my eye's extremely red and I can't see anything. I think you have eye problems. Wow, I'm glad you have a doctorate. That's fantastic. Couldn't have told myself that one at home. You know, oh shit, I think I have eye problems. Let's say it in Latin, everyone. Iritis. I'm not go back to bed. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so suffering from a bout of iritis, can't see shit. Try and tap my card on. I think it goes. It doesn't go. I get to Spadina. I'm getting off the streetcar on my way to my eye doctor's office because I cannot see. And this transit cop pulls me over to the side and goes, oh, come on, you tap your Presto card so I can see you paid. I'm like, yeah, sure, pal.
Fucking person pulls you over to the side.
Yeah, pull the card over, tap the card. He says, nope, this card hasn't been tapped today, sir. I'm like, well, yeah, I think it has, but it just didn't work or something. He's like, yeah, well, sorry, but my job, here's a $245 ticket, sir. And I'm like, for what? He's like, failure to obey a posted sign. The best part about that is, you look around, there's no fucking sign that says, oh, Presto doesn't work and we're going to steal your money and here's a fucking ticket. I don't see that fucking sign posted anywhere. You know what I see? I see a sign that says Spadina. I see another one that says elevator this way. You know? What the sign they really need is transit cop compensating for something. That's got to be there on the wall somewhere. Because that at least I'd believe, right?
Shots fired, ladies.
This episode of Drunk and Disorderlies brought to you by Presto and the TTC.
Brought to you. Thanks, Metrolinx. So, and that was a ticket I went to pay, and, you know, that was great. I got to go to court and watch. There's three, like, there's a judge, an assistant judge, like, 4 people, like, a stenographer, and, like, someone. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit. And this is just for TTC court, by the way. There's a whole building that does nothing but process TTC tickets. This is a fucking revenue stream like you wouldn't believe. They won't clean the seats on the bus, but they have 9 people to make sure that I pay the ticket for going blind one afternoon. Thanks, guys. Efficiently using our dollars right there, like every cent, right? And again, the same thing. Like, they'll take, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Like, we'll take blood. What do you want? It's no problem. You know, Interact, traveler's checks, firstborn, like whatever. They're ready to go. Ready to go. It's intense. And, of course, the second thing you have to know about transit court is you're guilty automatically. Any transit offense, because they're posted signs, they're violations, they're not actually indictable offenses.
You have no rights.
Yes, there is no defense. There is nothing you can say that is technically a legal defense. So it's like basically everything, your only recourse is to plead ignorance, which is not a defense under the law, right? So anything you've done, they'll say, well, there was a posted sign, or you should have known, or this was the bylaw, and so give us money. But you can ask them to pay less money for, like, pity reasons, right? So, of course, I just turned it right on. Like, I'm there, the 2 eyes, like, red as crap, because I got really high before I went there. And I'm just like, oh, I'm really sorry about my appearance today, Your Honor. Like, I have this.
I have iritis
Yeah,
from the weed.
I have this eye condition, and I can't see very well, so I apologize if I'm kind of roomy and teary and all that stuff, you know. And I know, just a poor working class guy, got caught at a bad moment with a broken Presto machine, and
sounds like a Journey song.
a dickless want-a-cop, and here we are. So I'm sorry, you know, please. And she's like, well, the ticket would be $245, but we'll just say 50 and square it out. I was like, fine, I'll pay it because I already know you're guilty. The best you can do is pay them less. That's it. They're getting your money. That's how that works. They already got you, right? So I mean, that was interesting. I don't mean to shit on the TTC, but any organization that has to create an institution to give themselves awards, okay, deserves just a little bit more scrutiny from the public, I think.
You don't shit on the TTC, and you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Stenciled right on the side of every TTC subway is this like star award from we're the best transit system in North America, and it's this association of organized transit rail. Anyway, if you go and look up who that organization is, it's the TTC. That's like, you know what? I'm amazing. TM, here's my award. Like.
Don't knock it till you try it. I have several awards that I made myself at a trophy shop.
I was going to say, once I found out there was a trophy shop out there, you could actually order trophies for things. I am a fucking pro at everything. You should see the golf trophy I bought myself. It's amazing. I don't even own a golf club, not a golf club, but I am a pro. Pro. I say so, and that's all that matters.
Has any of your gallivanting ever included both what we call turkey bacon and the cops in the same night? So a TTC police run-in and a police run-in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody know what we're talking about?
Turkey bacon?
I like that. I like that.
No one knows turkey bacon?
That's great.
Look at that faking. That's awesome. That's great. That's a great way to do it.
Oh, we were always dodging the turkey bacon back in the day. Well, that would also include school security, like
mall cops.
A guy in my high school, this amazingly awesome dude in the print lab at my high school made faux TTC tickets, but they were only good on one side. So you had to cut them out and glue them together, which made them a little bit thicker than they should be. So they were a little bit suspect, right? And we also learned that if you take a pair of metal snips and you cut the outside ring off a penny, they used to fit into the token slot. Until they changed the weight balance inside the machines, at which point it just made this really horrible noise, and you got stuck there like,
Alert.
This guy tried to pay with a pen.
But yeah, the turkey bacon right to actual Opigorale. I totally know that one. I was using fake tickets, and I totally got caught. And the transit cop was like, this isn't real. And I'm like, yeah, but money, it's all faith anyway, right? It's cool. Like, you got to believe in it. And he's like, I don't believe in it. And I'm like, that's okay. I don't believe in getting arrested by turkey bacon. So I ran and jumped over the little turnstile thing because, it's like this high, right? So like, it was more like I hopped a bit over the turnstile, like, huh. And I got outside. I think I'm awesome. I whip around and I know this for a fact, 6 feet past the property line, Turkey Bacon Authority ends completely. Like there is absolutely nothing they can do except sort of look at you sternly and be like, if you come back here to the TTC, we'll possibly give you a bylaw infraction, So I was like, you got nothing now, buddy, woo! And I turn around and there's 2 cops sitting in the alleyway in the car and they're like, so what's going on there? And I'm like, And of course the transit cop's like, it's a fare evader, sir. And the other cop's like, oh yeah, fare evasion, huh? Did you just litter on the sidewalk there, son? And I'm like, all right. I run back into the subway. I'm like, I'd rather get arrested by you because you can't do anything. So yeah, no, I was let go with a warning, and it's a good thing the guy didn't find like the 5,000 fake TTC tickets in my backpack because that would have been a little more than a warning. Probably like, I'm sorry, you're going to jail for fraud. Like, but no, it's just my papers, my business papers. Oh, what do you do for a living? So I'm unemployed. Yeah. To quote the Big Lebowski, because Big Lebowski rocks. Right to the Big Lebowski, all that, man. All right, so where skateboards turn into water sports. So one of these skate parties I went to, there's a really beautiful blonde girl from Woodbridge or some really
Oxford.
It was a really affluent neighborhood in one of these areas, slightly out of the city, and she invited some guys back to her place for this party, and I didn't realize that I was pretty drunk at the time. I was a pretty young guy. I was new to the scene. Wasn't that suave with the ladies. I didn't know what was up. And I got caught in like the oldest fishing scam the world's ever known, which is where like, the beautiful girl's like, yeah, come back to my place. It'll be a fantastic time, blah, blah, blah. But you're actually just the butt of the joke, Carrie.
Carry on.
So I get back to this girl's place, and she's like teasing me and coming on to me, and I'm pretty high, I'm pretty drunk. I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. She's like, Cole, come down to the basement, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah. So I get down to the basement, I'm like, rock and roll, I'm getting on top of this shit. What? Yeah, like young kid, super awesome. She goes, yeah, we're gonna play some games, right? I'm like, yeah. So she gets this pair of handcuffs. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the best. What a fucking dear penthouse letters. Like I'm writing it in my head already. Like, yeah, dear penthouse. So
and then
So she handcuffs me to this like little water pipe in the basement like this, right? And then she goes, I'll be right back. And I'm like, yes. And she takes off. So for the first like 20 minutes, I was pretty sure she was coming back. 25, 30 minutes goes by. The doubt's beginning to arise. I'm like, I have a feeling like maybe. And then I start hearing the laughing upstairs. And I'm like, oh, yeah. All right. So I spent maybe 5 minutes feeling bad for myself.
Do you have pants on at this time?
Yes. That was the one saving grace is I didn't.
Just picturing it.
No, I didn't. She didn't. She had been smarter. She could really humiliated me a lot more, to be honest. But I was, a little offended by that. So I just, I threw a berserk rage, basically. And I tore the water pipe out of the wall.
Yes.
So it starts filling the basement with water.
Oh.
And I come up the basement stairs to the kitchen, and one of the dudes is standing against the basement door, and I can hear him like, fucking guy thought he was going to get some blah, blah, blah. So I kick the back of the door. I break the door in half, and he goes face first into the fridge, breaks his nose, throws his beer everywhere, and I come bursting out like, here's Johnny, into the kitchen, like handcuffs and all, like soaking wet because I broke this pipe over my head. So I'm just looking all crazy and shit, right? She's like, but, and I'm like, but. I reach up, there's this row of cabinets along the wall right above the sink, and I grab the cabinets, and I'm like, but, and I just pull them off the fucking wall. Like, rip all the dishes and shit, slam it on the ground, and I lose it. I'm like, where the fuck are the keys? And she's running this way, and guys are trying to stop me, and I'm like, running through this house. I don't know. I break the TV. I kick the couch over. I throw a guy through the front window of the house, right? So there's a small electrical fire going on behind the TV. The basement's flooding. I've torn like $15,000 worth of cabinets off the wall in the kitchen, broke every dish I can find, injured at least 4 people.
Or
I end up outside realizing, fuck this, I'm just going to go. Fuck you, I'm leaving. So I'm walking down the street with this pair of handcuffs on, covered in like wood splinters and bits of this woman's fucking house, right? And this squad car, out of the corner of the eye, you just see the white and black just like slowly pulling up next to me, and light comes on, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's to be expected, right? So I turn around, I'm like, what's going on, officer? And this older female cop, she was a sergeant. She gets out of the car, and takes a look at me, and she sees the fucking handcuffs and the whole thing. She's like, what the fuck happened to you? She's like, we got this call, like, some guy brought a cougar to a party, and it went nuts. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, this house is, like, destroyed, and we don't know, and no one there is talking, like. And then we drive a block away, and there's a giant guy in handcuffs wandering on the street, covered in wood chips and like bits of carpet foam and stuff. So embarrassed and kind of mortified, I'm like, I told her the story. I'm like, yeah, I got caught in the world's oldest phishing scam. Joke's on me. I'm not getting laid tonight. Blah blah. She's like, no, joke's not on you, man. She's like, you like demolished this girl's house. Like, the funny part is like, you broke the railing off the front stairs on the way. Like, just threw it in the lawn. Like, fuck off, railing. And she's like, just come here for a second. I'm like, well, am I getting arrested? She's like, no. She takes the cuffs off. She's got cuff keys. And I'm like, aha, cops have cuff keys. I forgot about that.
Never goes the other way, usually.
Never. No, it's the only time I've had cops offering to take the cuffs off of me. Not being like, these are your bracelets now, sir. So she's like, all right, I want to go back to the house with you. I'm like, okay. So I'm about to get in the back. I'm like, getting in. She's like, no, sit in the front. It's okay.
Oh, another first?
Yeah. Wow. And I was like, wow, this is pretty weird. And she pulls up to the house, and the girl's on the lawn. She's cry bullying. She's pulling this, I don't know what happened. This guy went crazy, like fucked up my house.
Right.
And the female cop walks over and goes, no, I don't think so. That doesn't sound what happened to me. I think what happened is you tried to embarrass this guy, and you picked the wrong fucking guy. I mean, he's not that embarrassed anymore, really. In fact, he just destroyed your house, right? So, like, the embarrassing part is the $25,000, $30,000 of damage that he did that we're not going to charge him for. That's what happened. And she's like, but, and I'm like, bye-bye. And I just like, I'll take that one. I take off. And I actually went to school with these people. So I learned later that she tried to lie to her parents when they got home. Told the same story about how some guy went nuts at a party. But her mom was like, well, we have to call the cops. Because look at all the damage done to the house and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, we can't call the cops. And eventually her dad's like, what's the fucking story? What do you mean we can't call the cops? And she's like, well, the cops are already here, and they said it was my fault. And I was like, so I hear that in school, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. Vindication. And her dad was so pissed off. She ended up, her entire summer savings money to like go skiing in Sweden or some shit went back into paying for railings and cabinetry that got torn out by the giant she pulled a prank on in the weekend, you know? So that's how skateboards can turn into water sports. Oh, and yeah, they couldn't get the water, because I mean, I pulled the pipe out of the walls. You can't just sort of like, plug that up or like turn off a tap. It runs until you turn the main off. So the basement had a foot of water in it before they managed to get the city to come and turn off the main like at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Guy's like, yeah, I'll be right on it. And he's like, oh, you have to have another sandwich and coffee too. So yeah.
Union.
So yeah. Their whole basement's like a fucking indoor pool now. You know what I mean? Like shit's just floating around boxes and stuff. Like water's a bastard too.
Very
kind of damage that she's a fully renovated basement. I'm talking really nice, like TV room, whole deal. Not anymore. Now it's just a fungus bin.
They're like, who's been here? The wet bandits?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. We throw the taps on. Exactly. Shout out to fucking Home Alone.
You had your own wet bandit moment. Very cool. Good fucking tale. Good fucking tale.
So that was So my warning to all young men is, if it sounds too good to be true, be sure you can break a water pipe. Because embarrassment is one thing, but property damage settles the score.
For a second, I thought you were going to say that you broke the water pipe, but then were somehow still attached to another part of it, and then the water was rising, and it became this very
No, I've never been
drowning.
trapped in a flooding situation like that.
When we script this, he's going to almost drown.
Oh yeah, no.
The whole basement will be full of water. It's just a little grill, and it's like dun 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 dun.
Just like the dramatizations, a lot of stuff that will be in the show didn't actually happen, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Based on a true story that are loosely based on tales that you also heard through other people.
That's right. Yeah.
Or maybe they all drown.
Some of the following is true. There was a guy in this place. Rest of it we made up, but it was pretty good.
Does anyone
Rob fucking Fowler? One more time. I can't imagine. He's such an intense guy. I said I was at the Distillers last night, and he is just one of those dudes. He is such an intensely fun dude in his own strange way. And not even seen him in 15 years. It's crazy because I used to see the guy every weekend. You know what I mean? It's some of those people in life, like, you go through various phases of life. The people you see all the time, then you just don't see ever again. But he's one of those guys. I haven't seen him in forever. And last night, he just walks out of the crowd at the Distillery. He's like, hey, and sort of pushes me, right? And everyone else is like, oh, dude, this guy's going to die. Look at this dude. And he's like, it's Fowler. And I'm like, Rob fucking Fowler. And he's like, yeah. And then everyone's like, okay. All right, that's cool. He knows him. But wow,
Shit was tense.
It was intense. For a second, that little guy looked like he was going to get eaten, but that's okay.
Robbie fucking Fowler.
Rob fucking Fowler.
Should we?
Yeah, man. One more for Rob
give
Fowler.
It up. Should we open it up to audience questions? They can be questions related to that specific story. They can be you sharing something about your own drunken disorderly scenarios, or it can be just general Big Bob questions about what it's like to be a 7-footer.
We're just tired of hosting at this point of the show, so go for it.
Well, I can relate to you on the thing you were talking about. If they don't have your name, they can't arrest you.
Yeah.
Because I was
Speaking in the microphone, sir.
I was blitzed. Give me some more cable.
And we have a 1 minute limit to your question / epic story.
But it's only for Nick.
We'll get back here. You were blitzed.
Blitzed in a park in Chicago playing bags. We brought the 2 boards out so we could throw it. Cop pulls up. I don't have my passport because I lost it in Chicago. I lost it for a year and I couldn't leave America. But
what?
The guy was like, "Do you have your ID?" I'm like, "No." So they couldn't they couldn't arrest me. And if they did, they would have to do all this paperwork and all that shit. So they
also have to hold you until they can identify you, which they're not going to do.
Yeah, so they gave everybody else like all these tickets, but let me go. And I was like, that's fucking yeah.
So you Guantanamo Bay'd yourself in Chicago?
Yes, sir. Dude,
That's
I had
pretty
to
awesome.
somersault into a bar once because there was a line, and I was like, I have to get a drink. So I rolled past a bunch of people to get in. So yeah, I feel you.
Not bad.
Comments?
I gotta. Yeah.
We
That's
love
awesome.
we love
I've
having
never
Nick on the
played.
show.
I've never
Thank you,
played
Nick.
sack, like bags in a park. Oh, I did one time get arrested for playing caber toss in a public park. That didn't go over.
What are the hours of operation for caber toss in public parks?
It's when you start throwing the log and when you stop.
In the police's defense, they were not caber toss logs. They were hydro poles that you had ripped out of the ground, Bob. So you can't.
No,
just
actually, that's
do
not true.
that.
They were rebuilding the playground at High Park, and they had all this lumber just sitting around, including a bunch of these like 6x6, really big like square wooden posts.
Yeah, like railway ties. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So we were drunk and decided we were going to toss them around for a bit. So we started caber tossing these things. We being like, my little buddies are trying to caber toss, and sort of like, I pick it up and it falls over. And I get one to go, and I'm like, woo! And then it's like, whoop, whoop. And I'm like, motherfucker, how come every time shit gets fun, you guys show up? And they're like, sir, this is what the hell is this? And I'm like, I'm just some caber tossing. What? It's a Scottish sport. What? Yeah, like you throw logs, okay? Like that's what it is. It's called log throwing. But in Celtic, it's caber toss, okay? Caber, log, whatever. You get it now? You throw a log. Why? Why not? It's like every other Scottish sport, like golf. Why? Why golf? Because whiskey. Like, what do you mean, why golf? Like, caber toss. Why? So if you need a fucking reason, why?
Best philosophical answer, why not?
Exactly. No, that's exactly it. What do you mean? Here, officer, why don't you throw the caber once or twice and tell me why? You know what I mean? You do it once and you'll know why. It'll be like, that was amazingly satisfying in a way I can't really describe to you. Like, in the subconscious region of my soul, I was like, oh yeah! Just threw a fucking 600-pound log! It's impressive. It feels good.
Bet it does.
It does.
Can I make a quick production note? Can you slide 3 inches this way? You have a ball shadow on your forehead. This way.
Ball
This whole
shadows.
time,
This way. There we go.
It's not too far this way, then the couch folds up on me.
Right. Slide it this way. Right?
Yeah,
won't-
seriously.
We accidentally broke one ball.
We had a moratorium on ball
Week
busting,
1.
okay? That was the thing.
They're
Yeah,
all
that was-
intact.
And I
That
mean that
was-
in any way you want to
It
interpret
was
that.
kind of like buying, when you get a ship and you break the bottle. Our first night,
Yeah.
shattered the glass, christened, got it over with.
Prove that we, too, have absolutely no, coordination or muscle awareness.
If you're listening to this or watching this, you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about because you can't see these glass balls hanging from the roof with roses in them. So that is what's happening here. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions, audience questions?
Okay, back to Nick.
Bit of a mic
You know what?
hog.
We're
Hello,
gonna
Bit
get
of a mic
we're gonna get
hog.
his own special camera.
Are there any like hours that you can't be in a park in Toronto?
It depends on the park.
Okay.
Some parks have posted hourly signs. They actually do close. Most public park venues that don't have a fence or a gate that can be shut cannot ever be closed to the public. Something
Right.
else under the Trespass and Properties Act. If it can't be sealed off from the public, it cannot be closed.
Yeah,
But
because
then-
that was the thing. Like in Chicago, there were no every park you couldn't be in past like
Curfews.
3 in the morning.
Yeah, curfews for
So
sure.
when I came back to Toronto, I was like, holy shit, I can like stand in a park for
Or
any hour I
even-
fucking want. Like
Holy
this is the
shit!
greatest thing I've ever been.
Or you can
I can
li-
be a rummy in this park all night long.
yeah, you could live in
Fuck
it.
the privilege,
Yeah.
Canada.
It's great.
Never throw you out of the park, no matter how fucking drunk you are. Welcome to. It's 5 a.m. Where are you? I'm in the playground, Mom. Why? Because I can be. That's what I'm talking about. True North, strong and free.
Well, in Toronto, because in Ottawa they kick you out at like 10 o'clock.
Fuck. And that's the capital. That's the capital of the fucking country.
Yeah, right.
It's like, why are you still in this park? I mean, I guess I get it, right? Like, you're the drunk guy on the swing set at like 4 in the morning. They're like,
We don't-
sir, you know we put this in here so children could have a good time, not so you could wet yourself here.
Please
But
go,
I just want to swing a little more. It's the trees. No, that's not going to cut it.
please go home, Mr. Prime Minister.
Please go home, Mr. Prime Minister.
You live at Sussex Drive. Please go home.
Look, Rito Hall's right across the street. Just get the fuck out of the park. Come on.
Any other audience Q&A?
We have time for one more.
30
only
seconds.
Oh, we got a
Oh.
production question.
Shout out
production
to
question.
Karim from Cifer Pics, our videographer.
Yeah,
and
100%.
editor
Yeah,
here.
we got that shout
Show
out.
wouldn't happen without
And
you.
to Two Board, Jim, we love you.
Hit
You
me.
do all the
All right,
Soundman
so-
Tubi.
So far, I've heard of you getting in a fight in a hospital, in a bar.
In a
in the
plane, on a
streets.
train,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
a fox. Yeah.
My question is, okay, so you pretty much answered my question. What's the weirdest place you got in a fight?
Yes.
Fucking great question.
Very good question.
Porta potty.
Very good question. No, I've never fought in a portalet.
And just what fighting
Not-
yourself.
Thank you, honey.
airplane
Thank you, honey.
bathroom.
That's right. Not yet is probably the best way to answer that one. Thanks, love. Shout out to my girlfriend for being honest about that. Weirdest place ever got in a fight? Let me think. Some weird places.
And like what defines weird? But I think we'll
I got into a fight in a phone booth one time.
Wow.
Didn't start in the phone booth, but it ended. Well, it sort of started half in the phone booth, but ended up in the phone booth.
how does something more than you fit in a phone booth?
I was in the phone booth. And I was on the phone, and this guy decided he needed the phone more than me, and I disagreed.
Who are these fucking people who come up to you in public and
Well, there's a psychology to that too, and I'll answer that one. It's very simple. In this world, there are a lot of small people who drink a lot, and when they drink, they imagine that they are very large people, and then they see a very large person, and in their mind's eye, they're like, "One of these things is not like the other. I'm so much bigger than this guy. I got this."
You hear that, Peter Dinklage? Don't try and fight Bob when you're drunk.
And the reality of that is this. Giant slayers spend more time in halo braces than just about anybody else. And if you don't know what a halo brace is, you've never had your arms bolted to your head like this.
and if you don't know what a giant slayer is,
Almost every, I don't know, maybe 5-6 times I hang out with you, I have to bring it up again. Random asshole who tried to lift you up, and all you heard was...
Yeah. There's that too. There's guys who want to pick me up because I'm huge. I could lift that guy.
You're like, please, sir, I'm in the middle of a discussion. Don't do it. Oh, God, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Repeat that. Repeat
All
that.
right. Yeah. My friend Sky's bringing up a very important another characteristic of being a giant.
Grab the mic
Assholes
next time,
assholes
Sky.
think they can pick you up. So a guy walks up behind me. I'm talking with this guy and a couple of friends. I'm like, no, sir, stop. We're cool. We're good. You don't have to do this, please. I'm in conversation. Don't pick me up. He's like, no. I got this. He locks his arms around my waist. And I'm like, seriously, don't do this. And he goes, hoo-ah! And puts everything he's got into it. Like my ankles, heels don't even come up off the ground. And you hear this. And the guy goes, oh, and goes right to the ground, holding his back, like, oh. And the other door guy who's working is like, what the fuck happened, Bob? Did you get in an argument with this guy or nothing? I'm like, no, he tried to pick me up and herniated. Like, I don't know.
And then the guy started chanting, Mandelbaum, man. That's a Seinfeld reference.
But anyway,
everybody.
giant slayers, it's a thing. Like one of those old world wisdom, right? When you get to prison, boy, you pick the biggest guy in the room, and you fight him. Whoever thought that up and thought it was good to put that in pop culture, dude, that person is a sadist.
that's hurt a lot of
Like
people.
a sadist. It's like, you're in prison. You pick the biggest guy. You're going to fight that guy? Okay. Well, this guy's name is Murder Squad. He's the enforcer for the bikers here in this wing of the prison. And we're just going to go and beat up Murder Squad this afternoon.
Just a face full of tears all the way
Yeah,
down. Just
like-
tears.
You know, he
Oh,
got his name because he won a puppy cuddling contest. Murder Squad, huh? Right? So you go over and try and pick a fight with this guy and I get folded like origami. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, wait a second. That didn't work out. The biggest guy in the room can kick my ass basically every time. What a surprise.
It was propaganda for those prison leaders to get that.
No, it's bullshit like Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great film, but the premise behind that is get your ass kicked and enjoy it. Like, I mean, that's it. Like, a tough guy knows how to get punched in the face for the rest of his life. What?
I feel like
that's a really shitty moral. I
feel
don't
like-
like that moral. I like a tough guy knows how to avoid getting punched in the face while punching others in the face. Because that works out a lot better for your dental care.
Bruce Lee, ultimate tough guy.
Exactly. When did Bruce Lee ever get punched in the face? The answer is never.
He
Never. He was doing the punching.
He got, special death gripped, and then that was about it.
Actually, that's not true. A couple of times he was able to punch himself in the face. Just a couple of times.
Because he's that
Mostly-
fast. Yeah.
he was-
It's like, wow! Fuck! You know what I mean? Like,
When Bruce Lee
drop my toothbrush!
when he first learned how fast he was, he accidentally punched himself in the face.
But yeah, no, for sure.
All right, I think we just got the 2-minute warning here, so we got to somehow wrap this up with any words of wisdom, morals,
Yes.
random screams.
Well,
How do we
we
want
were told not to do the random
don't
screams
scream.
anymore.
No
So
screaming.
Stop encouraging. He's inciting random screams, this guy.
Every time we go over a decibel, Lars is like, "Ee."
I want to shout out to the Distillers because they
Distillers?
absolutely killed Toronto. And if I can encourage them to play more shows here, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I want them to come back. I know that means nothing what I say, but if they do hear this podcast, never come back to Toronto. You guys are the best. Rob fucking Fowler.
Rob fucking Fowler.
Fucking
You-
power.
You're not here, but you reminded me of this stories. And two, to Sketch Park, where they have the only fucking baseball diamond that has never been used for baseball, ever.
Yeah. Hit
Thank
us
you.
up at 39DD Show.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.